Welcome back to Little English Studio, where we travel beyond time and across the world to uncover stories carved, painted, and whispered into the landscapes of human history. Today, we journey deep into the heart of Central Asia, where jagged peaks touch the clouds and ancient winds carry secrets older than civilization itself. This is the story of the petroglyphs of the Altai Mountains, a gallery not of canvas or stone temples, but of the open earth, a sacred archive of humanity's first attempts to speak to eternity. The Altai Mountains stretch majestically across the borders of Russia, Mongolia, Kazakhstan, and China, forming one of the most breathtaking and remote natural frontiers on Earth. Known as the Golden Mountains, their snow-capped ridges, vast valleys, and pristine rivers have been home to countless generations of nomads, hunters, and shamans. Yet beyond their natural grandeur lies an astonishing treasure, thousands upon thousands of rock carvings, or petroglyphs, that tell the story of life in these lands from as early as 10,000 years ago. These petroglyphs, carved into granite and shale surfaces, stand as silent witnesses to the evolution of human thought, spirituality, and creativity. Found in sites like Kalbaktash, Tsagansala, and Alangesh, they form one of the world's richest and most continuous records of prehistoric art. Imagine standing before a massive boulder under the golden light of dawn, seeing the outline of a deer leaping across its surface, a hunter with a bow drawn, and beside them, a shaman figure half human, half spirit, all etched by hands that lived millennia before the pyramids of Egypt were built. The artistry of these carvings is simple yet powerful. In Kalbaktash alone, there are over 5,000 petroglyphs, depicting everything from wild ibexes and elk to warriors on horseback, chariots, and even early astronomical symbols. The oldest images belong to the Neolithic period, when early hunter-gatherer communities roamed the steppes, following herds and mapping the stars. Later carvings, from the Bronze and Iron Ages, reflect the rise of pastoral nomadism. Scenes of herding, ritual dances, and battles hint at the social and spiritual complexity of ancient Altai life. One striking feature of these petroglyphs is how they mirror the changing worldviews of their creators. Early carvings are dominated by animals, majestic stags, mountain goats, and large predators, showing humanity's respect and dependency on nature. But as centuries passed, humans began to occupy the center of their own stories. The emergence of chariots and riders marks the dawn of a new age, the age of mastery over movement, trade, and warfare. The Altai rocks thus act as a timeline, chronicling humanity's journey from survival to civilization. Archaeologists believe that many of these images had religious or shamanic significance. The Altai region has long been seen as a spiritual axis, a bridge between heaven and earth. Shamans, regarded as mediators between humans and spirits, often performed rituals on sacred stones or at mountain passes. Some petroglyphs depict human figures surrounded by halos, holding staffs, or appearing to levitate, perhaps representations of trance states or visions. Others include solar symbols, spirals, and animals merging into hybrid forms, reflecting the ancient belief in the interconnectedness of all life. But beyond their spiritual meaning, the petroglyphs also tell us about daily life. We see hunters with bows and spears chasing reindeer, herders leading cattle, and families gathered around tents. Scenes of combat reveal details about ancient weaponry, curved swords, shields, and even what appear to be early depictions of armor. In a way, these carvings are the earliest newspapers, recording everything from myth to migration, conflict to celebration. And yet, perhaps what makes the Altai petroglyphs so hauntingly beautiful is their sense of continuity. Unlike monuments that crumble or cities that fall, these simple carvings have endured for 10 millennia, surviving ice, rain, and wind. The same cliffs that bore witness to mammoth hunters now overlook herds of horses and the trails of modern travelers. Time moves on, but the art remains, untouched and eternal. One particularly fascinating site is Tsagansala in Mongolia's Altai Tavan Bogd National Park. This site contains over 10,000 individual carvings spread across vast slopes and valleys. The sheer diversity of images, from wild animals and herders to mysterious geometric patterns, suggests that the area served as both a ceremonial ground and a kind of open-air archive, a sacred meeting place of art, myth, and memory. UNESCO recognized this interconnected network of petroglyphs as a World Heritage Site in 2011, under the name Petroglyphic Complexes of the Mongolian Altai. The challenge of interpreting these images remains immense. Unlike written records, petroglyphs do not provide direct explanations. Scholars must read them like a code, comparing styles, superimpositions, and weathering patterns to estimate their age and meaning. In some places, older carvings are partially overwritten by newer ones, creating a palimpsest of cultures. It is as if every generation added its own voice to an ongoing dialogue carved into stone. But despite the mystery, one truth stands clear. The people of the Altai were deeply connected to their environment. Their art reflects not domination over nature, but coexistence. Each animal, each mountain, each river held spirit, a living force deserving of respect. This worldview, so different from the modern industrial mindset, resonates strongly today as humanity once again confronts its relationship with nature. Let's pause for a moment and imagine standing there. The cold wind from Siberia brushes your face. A hawk circles above. Before you, on a sunlit rock, are figures carved thousands of years ago, a deer leaping, a hunter poised to strike. You trace the grooves with your fingers, feeling the same lines a human once carved with a stone tool, guided by firelight and belief. In that instant, you are not in the 21st century. You are part of something timeless, the conversation of humanity with the world itself. Modern technology has allowed us to preserve and study these carvings in incredible detail. Using 3D scanning, drones, and digital imaging, archaeologists can now create virtual replicas of entire valleys of petroglyphs, ensuring that even as erosion slowly wears the stones, their stories will live on. Virtual museums and educational programs in Russia and Mongolia have brought this heritage to global audiences, allowing people everywhere to explore the ancient art of the Altai from their homes. However, threats remain. Climate change, unregulated tourism, and industrial development all endanger these fragile artworks. Some petroglyphs have already been vandalized or damaged by modern inscriptions. The challenge of preservation lies in balancing access with protection, allowing people to experience the wonder without destroying the source of that wonder. Governments and UNESCO are working with local communities to raise awareness and promote sustainable tourism, turning the Altai into both a sanctuary and a classroom for the world. Beyond their archaeological value, the petroglyphs of the Altai Mountains remind us of a fundamental truth: that art is not a luxury of civilization, but its foundation. Before writing, before cities, before empires, humans needed to express, to remember, to connect. These carvings show that our ancestors were not primitive. They were poets and philosophers, scientists and dreamers, using the world itself as their page. So when we look upon the deer and the sun and the hunter carved into stone, we are not merely studying the past, we are looking at the birth of imagination. Every painting, every story, every film, every song we create today traces its lineage back to moments like these, when someone, somewhere in the Altai Mountains, picked up a stone and began to carve the first sentence of humanity's story. Thank you for journeying with us through the frozen winds and sacred stones of the Altai Mountains. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more hidden wonders of our world, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our next adventure. From the peaks of the Altai to the deserts of Egypt, Little English Studio brings history to life, one story at a time. Until next time, keep exploring, keep wondering, and keep listening to the whispers of the past.